Hello, hello.
Hello, and welcome to a very scary and special episode of Ready, Set, Real Estate. I am really excited about this. Let me play that song again. Mariette is going to come on. Mariette Martinez, EA tax professional and accountant, is joining us today. But I really thought that music was really cool. So I want to just play it again just because I love the way it sounded. It sounded pretty darn awesome. And let me see here. This is like the best. Be sure to tag, share, let someone know what we're doing today. So we are doing a special 3-part series, taking the scariness out of accounting is what we are doing. I feel so excited. This is my laugh when we figured out the technology.
And it's the wrong camera, so that's okay.
I love it. Mariette Martinez.
Yes.
So
I didn't have my scary costume on. I'm an owl. I even brought you guys a friend. See my beautiful owl.
So amazing. I love it.
I don't know how I look though. Is it split? It looks like I maybe split screen.
You're perfect. You're perfect.
Good.
It's so cute. Yay. This is exactly why I was
so happy to be here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. And that's that we're both in tech. So there you go.
It's so funny because we even when we first connected, we had so many hiccups. We had so many, let's use this platform. Let's use this platform with so many platforms.
That's what happens when you have two hardcore tech people. It's like, our platforms are scared of each other.
Right. And then it was so funny because we were like, let's just pick up the phone and call.
Serious. We did. Let's go old school, right? You know, a lot of times you just got to go old school, and that worked for us. So,
exactly. I love your mask. So welcome to the show. Thank you for time blocking your time and just really taking the scariness out of accounting for us real estate professionals. And you are I'm going to say this because you're doing amazing things in terms of educating, empowering entrepreneurs, small business owners, really with a niche for the Latino demographic, but really for every and everybody. Just like I am passionate about every and everybody, we do have our niche markets where we're passionate about, and we really drive it home. But it's just really amazing to see you doing it because you are a public educator, accountant, and you teach. I'm looking at a lot of what you do and just bringing the QuickBooks to the forefront. And I know you're excited about that. So it's so funny because not a lot of people know how to make taxes and accounting sound fun and exciting, but you definitely bring it. You have a wealth of knowledge. And today I just wanted to just create a space and a dialogue, especially as we're in fourth quarter as real estate professionals. And today's segment of our 3-part series, yes, I said that, you guys, we're doing a 3-part series special with Mariette Martinez, and she's going to be touching on just some tips, guide, some things to look out for depending on what your profile is. And I have to say it that way because today's segment is for the real estate professional, right? So people like me who are in sales, you are the entrepreneur, the independent contractor who's out here hustling and grinding, trying, sometimes living off the amount that's allocated to be paid towards the IRS. You're living off that money. So just wanted to go in today and just kind of give you a taste of what Mariette brings and the information that you need to know. Mariette, take her away.
And I'm going to take my mask off because I want to look at you guys, and I can't look at you with this mask on.
Exactly.
So thank you for being here. Number one, I need to give a big shout out to our boy, Clint. He is basically who brought us together. Just the power of networking, as you and I both know. He was sharing he was going to be on your show a few months ago. I watched that show. I have been a follower and fan of your show since. I love it. And so I just love what you do as well. I love what you're doing with our young professionals because I really believe it starts at the beginning, growing those young entrepreneurs at a very young age. It's something huge for me. We're both mommypreneurs, so we know all about that. Right. And so, just super thankful to be here. And thank you, Clint, for making the connection. So I always want to be grateful for that. Right. So yes, I appreciate, that you really put that platform out there, and that's the fundamentals of what we're going to do and take the scariness out of accounting and real estate accounting in specific is that's step number one is understanding there's 3 parties involved. Well, there's a lot more, but we're going to keep it simple, right? Because it's also about keeping it simple. There's 3 parties involved when you're thinking about real estate accounting. There's the real estate agent, the independent contractor, right? And then we actually have other people that do investing in real estate. So those are our real estate investors, our long-term investors. And then probably not a few years ago, more than 10 years ago, got really popular was the real estate flipping, right? When the market got crazy, the flipping got crazy, right? Exactly. And so a whole nother industry opened up there within the real estate market where the real estate flipper dealers. And the reason why we need to make sure to set that stage is because the accounting is incredibly different for all 3 parties. And what happens is that there's not enough awareness around that. And so unfortunately, I've had thousands of real estate professionals come up to me thinking they're doing it as a flipper dealer or as an investor, and they're not, or vice versa. I've had investors think that they're, going to flipping and they're going to continue the same real estate transactions and the same ways that they're going to post to their accounting. And even scarier is the way they're going to reflect that on their taxes. And that's completely incorrect. And so we're going to debunk some myths. We're going to open up some minds within the next 3 series. And again, we want to keep it simple. So we got to separate those 3 because they're very different.
Right.
So when Lisa and I talked about this awesome series we want to do together, we're like, okay, we will scare everybody away if we do this all at once, right? So let's keep it simple. So we're going to start with the real estate professionals. And I'm not saying you guys are simple, but it's just a really good graduation. Because a lot of times you'll start as a real estate professional, you'll really love real estate. And then what happens, Lisa? You decide to go into investing, maybe even the flipping, right? So it's definitely kind of a ladder that many people, that's their process. It's the natural procession. And so we want to go ahead and start there. So I want this to be a conversation. I know a lot of you engage with Lisa on the Facebook Live or where she's like on live. She's on Instagram. She's all these places.
I'm not right. And I was going to say that. And I was going to say that, especially because today there's parades happening. There's different work activities happening. So I just want to say shout out to our replay listeners. We have an amazing replay audience who are tuning in on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Anchor FM, Stitcher, Breaker, tons of radio podcast platforms everywhere. You see me, right, Mariette? I want to make sure I give love to everybody who is tuning in. Everybody. And we're available in 4 million car dashboards everywhere. So people are doing a lot of mobile university, and that's actually where a lot of our listeners are tuning in when they're in traffic and you've got an hour, 2 to 3 hours.
That's my favorite university.
Yes. So mobile university. So do allow, when people chime in, ask questions, all good. If not, make sure to hashtag replay when you do comment. That way we know you're tuning in on the replay, and we'll build the conversation. Again, this is part 1 of part 2 and 3. And I love the way Mariette set this up because it is a progression into wealth. And for the real estate professionals, I mean, this is Ready, Set Real Estate. I would be remiss if I didn't focus on bringing some awareness tools and the professionals that can help us improve the way we are allocating our money. And I like saying being tax efficient as well, which, by the way, that's a great segue, Mariette, for me to plug in right now that this show supports our nonprofit Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation, and we are welcoming all your donations for better tax efficiency.
Exactly. Yes, and tax savings, because that's really what it's about. Especially for the real estate professional, which definitely have my heart. It's actually one of the areas I focused in accounting is those real estate professionals. A lot of times, they're incredibly passionate, incredibly entrepreneurial and creative. And, they got to stage their homes. They got to woo their customers and their clients. They're not thinking finance.
Right.
They're not thinking taxes and savings, but it's more money in your pocket. It's more profit for your business. And it's more saving. And whatever you decide to do on saving, of course, as Lisa and I think we can agree, that's building wealth. That's probably the best strategy there. But ultimately, that's what it's about. So I'm going to break this into probably 2 or 3 parts, again, to keep it simple. But what is my time on here so I can keep time?
So we've got a good 20 minutes. We're not going to do too much on this, but a good 20 minutes. We had some technical stuff, but it was fun. I was like messing with the music anyway.
Awesome. So I'm going to go just break this down and just kind of give you, and I'm going to be throwing out resources, something that I do a lot. And especially if you follow me up today, I'm big on resources just because, I would be happy, both Lisa and I would be happy if you can retain, 10, 20% of what we cover today. But what we're really going to do, or what I'm going to do, my promise is to give tons of resources that you can refer back to. Okay. Because that's really important. So the first resource I'm going to give you, no pitch to myself, but it is a pitch to myself, is my website. And the reason why is because I had the honor to teach at the National Association of Realtors conference last year. And I have a whole landing page with real estate professional resources for you. So if you go to my website, click on events, and then search for NAR, the NAR event. And there you're going to get a really cool top, let me just make sure I tell you exactly what it is. I think it's the top 10 categories of tax deductions. And you can go ahead and download that infographic. It's a really good start. And I say categories because within each category, there's tons of different savings there. So you have to think of it about your top deductions in regards to categories. So I always think, let's start with something simple. The road warrior. Real estate agents are road warriors. They're driving around. They're taking care of their business, usually mobile, right? And so as a road warrior, what do you think? Obviously, you think automobile. It's the first thing that comes to your head, right? Automobile. And when you think automobile, there's a strategy behind that. And so again, when you talk about tax deductions and tax strategies, and remember, when you're talking about this, I'm really hoping you're not talking about this by yourself. You should be doing this with your accountant, okay? I'm just giving you I'm giving you the talking points, and I'm giving you enough to be dangerous. So when you go to your appointment, you are well aware, because this is all about awareness, right, Lisa? Financial awareness, financial literacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
you said your website. I just wanted to plug it in. So read out your website for our listening audience, and I'll plug in.
I will.
The link.
It's www.mariettemartinez, my full name.com. So super simple. It's my full name, mariettemartinez.com. And when you get there, to get specifically what I'm sharing, you're going to click on the top menu. You're going to click on events, and you're going to click on show events. And you're going to go to 2017 and look for NAR. It's very simple. You just look up the event that says National Association of Realtors. When you click in that, there's a landing page of everything I did, and you can download this top tax deductions right in there. And maybe if I get into the Facebook Live afterwards, I'll just give you the direct link as well. And so, but when you start, again, let's go back to, going to your appointment, let's say, and saying, okay, well, of course I'm a road warrior. What does that mean? Well, when you're a road warrior, there's a lot of things you're doing mobile. So again, the first thing we think is auto, but there's other things you're doing mobile. You're using apps probably to be able to manage your business mobile. You're having to, let's say you're having to go to the store to buy things because you're going to stage a house. So now in that one day, think about the deductions. The deduction was the auto expense, which can either be a actual expense versus a mileage expense. So you'll want to learn that from your tax preparer. And if not, there's tons of videos. I actually have several of them on how to choose the auto actual expense versus the mileage expense. But then when you're driving in one day, this is what I always tell my real estate agents. Let's just live a day in your shoes, in your heels, usually, because my real estate gals are wearing heels, right? Yes. And so let me live a day in your heels. And so they tell me, well, I woke up in the morning, I took my kids to school if they're mompreneurs like me. Then I had to go to a couple of coffee appointments. Well, that coffee, of course, 50% of that is deductible. Then after that, I had to go to my house. No, and then I went to Home Goods or Ross and bought a bunch of cool stuff to stage my home. Well, if you're staging a home, those are materials and supplies related to your business. That is deductible. Then I drove over to a lunch meeting, a prospect client. Half of that is deductible. Then I went ahead and went to the open house and I staged the home, and I hired a stager to help me. I hired an independent contractor to help me stage, because I know if I want to grow my business, I can't do everything, right? I need help. So I hired an independent contractor to help me stage. The stager is deductible. And then I went ahead and, went home, and through all that day, think about everything that just happened just because you were running around and doing your business. What happens is real estate agents don't think in deductions. They think in getting things done, right? Right. And so that's why you have to be keeping track of that. How are you keeping track of that? Hopefully you're using a mileage app. Hopefully you're using a financial app like QuickBooks Self-Employed that essentially is keeping track of all those transactions. Hopefully you are, paying your independent contractors with a check, or you're paying them whatever maybe they receive, a swipe through Square or PayPal, because you have to track all of this information. Why? Because at the end of the year, when you go to your tax appointment, you are going to make your tax preparer, your professional, so proud, because you're going to say, I had hundreds of busy days, like I just explained, but I tracked it all because I want to save taxes, because I want to save money, because I want to see what my profit is, and I want to build my wealth. And so that's just one day. One day, right. Right?
I love it. And I am just, and here's the thing with me, I just much deductions because there's so much happening in that one day. One of the things that one of my colleagues recommended is we use the overnight express envelopes, the 9x12s, and we stick them in the middle of the car console.
Yes,
and we
the manila.
put labels for each month, and we just dump receipts in there, whatever, because you're always going to end up in your car, whether you go on appointment or you to and from is always in the car. And so I think that has been really helpful. So when the month is over, we seal it up and just stack it, and we make sure we replace it with the one for the new month. That's a wonderful idea. In practice, you just got to remember to do it.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just lead with what you just said, because the receipts are incredibly important. Why? Because you need audit proof. You need an audit proof that the expenses that you had for your business were ordinary and necessary. That's the law. For you to be able to take a expense and make it a deduction. Two different things. You can spend in your business. It's not always necessarily going to be a deduction to lower your actual income in your business. For it to be a deduction, it needs to be ordinary and necessary. This is another video I did on that NAR reference I gave you. I have tons of videos I made for NAR, so I'm going to give you access to all those. But when you know that an expense is made, at this time, you're not thinking ordinary or necessary. You're thinking, I had to spend money. So I'm going to stick it in that manila envelope. But let me tell you, this is next level, and this is incredibly simple. And if you want to be on top of your game, this is what you need to do. At the same time, you need to be using a bank account or a credit card specifically for that business, right? And you need to swipe that card, or you need to use the debit, or you need to use the checking account related to that account by writing checks. Worst case scenario is you withdraw cash, but out of that specifically account, but you have to know what that cash is for. But if you're using one specific account, then you link it into what's called an accountability app. An accounting app, again, like QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Self-Employed. There's Xero, there's FreshBooks, right? The reason why you link it to the account is because when you get home at the end of the day, or let's be realistic, when you get a break on Saturday or Sunday, right? Whenever your schedule looks like, you can go online and log into QuickBooks Self-Employed, and every one of those transactions that you are super disciplined and you put the receipt in the manila envelope, it will come in magically into that online account. And so what do? You go in there and say, materials, supplies, I paid my stager. This is my auto expense. This is when I went to my accountant and I had to pay for consulting to get advice. This is, and you literally are just categorizing. It takes you 30 minutes of your time to categorize a whole week worth of transactions, but it's all magically there. That's what the real estate professional, in my situation, in my experience, they don't get there. They get to the envelope, they stick it in, but they don't get to the technology. And you and I, Lisa, we know how important technology is. That's next level, right? That's technology. That's called automation. That's called embracing living a smarter, faster way so you can spend more time with your family or whatever it is. You need to embrace technology because automation makes your life so much better, and it's not that scary anymore. It really isn't that scary anymore.
I want to say this, and Mariette just dropped some amazing gems, and she plugged in some apps, some platforms that you guys can use. One of the things that I am really gathering from this, Mariette, and just as a business owner, mompreneur, is no one can actually do this work for you. I have to do my part.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what I'm gathering from this. So
well, let me tell you something, just because I want you to finish your thought, but let me tell you, someone can do it for you.
Okay.
But you're going to pay.
Okay, exactly. But so you're saying, because I'm thinking it's either get the credit card, get the accounts, which, that's the next level stuff. Like you said, make sure you're making it easier. And even what I noticed, PayPal did this as well, because, PayPal and Stripe, those really came out for the independent owners and small business people. And when they started to release statements, right, and being able to categorize and then do P&L, profit and loss from their platforms, that's next level stuff. And I don't feel as scary about it anymore. I feel like this is very normal in running my business.
And you know what it is, Lisa, too? And I'm going to tell you something that I think is really exciting about taking the scariness out of the accounting, specifically for the real estate professional, is that there's a lot of leaders and influencers and speakers like myself that really have a heart and really have a passion to make sure you're all winning. And so we're going to give you so much information. I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel and look up real estate accounting playlist or look up QuickBooks self-employed playlist, I have probably 50 videos for free on how to set this all up. So, you don't got to pay if you don't want to pay. But as Lisa said, then you need to do it yourself. Now, if you want to pay a consultant for an hour or two, they can say, Lisa, you and I, for the next 2 hours, we're going to get it done. We're going to set you up. I'm going to teach you all this stuff. I'm going to tell you what deductions you can take. When I tell you what deductions you're going to take, what does that do? That inspires you and encourages you to take more, be more conscious of things like spending money, swiping your card, right? Using your PayPal. When you use your PayPal, who are you paying? Are you paying a contractor that way? So what happens is when you have that appointment with someone, or when you listen to a podcast or Facebook Live like Lisa's, or when you sit here and listen to us today, hopefully it's going to inspire you to say, God, I'm kind of missing out. Why haven't I jumped on this train? And now you're going to do two things. You're going to hire help if you feel like I just can't do this alone. It's just still too complicated. Or you're going to go and get educated through Mobile University or YouTube University or all the other ones that are out there for you to do it yourself. Audible, podcasts. I mean, there's so many opportunities for you to learn.
Right. Oh, I feel this is so good. This is so good. So I love that you just use just a daily analogy, especially in our business, to be mindful of those things. And I love the word inspired. You will be, I'm already inspired. So those of you who are real estate professional salespersons, you're in the business. This is your thing. This is your thing. This is what you hustling and grinding for. I love that Mariette said you'll be inspired to take more deductions, because that then in turn translates to savings.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And that's what it's really about. If you think about what we do and what we put our effort in, we put our effort in things that excite us, inspire us, we're passionate about. And you started this session, and I hear this every single time, like, how are you so excited about accounting and finance and taxes? And what excites me about it is the end game, the wealth, the financial confidence, the financial happiness, the financial goal that you actually accomplish by taking on this ownership of, I'm going to do things differently. That's what I'm excited about. Of course, the technicalities, you need to learn it. But I'm more excited about the end game. How are you going to feel when you're not dreading, like, not having money to pay your bills? How are you going to feel when you actually can project your income and know how you're going to end the year? That's the big pit in your stomach. Like, oh gosh, I don't even want to look at that. I'm going to totally procrastinate because I don't know how bad it is. What if it's not bad? What if it's good? What if it's good? And so that's what excites me, and hopefully excites you guys, is don't you want it to be a good experience, not a bad experience? It doesn't have to be scary anymore. Right?
Drops mic on that, because that was so empowering, and I will say liberating, to say, as a professional, the reason why I'm excited is because of the end game. You are providing so much value to that individual, their business, where, like you said, we are passionate. Like, I'm even looking at some point in time, and I've just been modeling. I haven't been modeling, but I've been also thinking, I've been doing this, the podcasting is a platform for fun, but also it is a business that I see people run. Like, they've got P&Ls, they're getting sponsorship dollars, there's advertising money come in. And so I'm like looking at this like, oh my gosh, I've now put myself into another arena that I have to be mindful of the accounting of it, especially when we think we're marketing, right? We're just we're excited about what we want to share with the world, but also that has been my own growth, is that I've noticed that I have spilled over into all these other arenas
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Keeping up with that. So I'm winning today, and this is a perfect day. I'm all dressed up. I'm Cleopatra today, by the way. So here's what's funny. I borrowed my gold cuffs from my super agent costume. So this is originally from my super agent costume, where I tell the kids, I'm saving the community from housing crises and foreclosures.
I'm gonna have to tell you, I gotta leave two things with you right now. First of all, I love the super agent. Talking about, kind of like, going into different phases of what you're doing with your business. One big one is really standing out. And that for me stands out. Like, that is amazing, because we are trying to always be our super selves. And that's a thing or a bad thing. That's a great thing, because the better we can be, the more super we can be, we inspire other people to reach their superness. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's awesome. I love the word super, but you have to use it like the right way, and you use it perfectly. So, but awesome. Entrepreneurship in podcasting.
Yes.
Podcast that's literally changed my world, like rocks my world. It's rocked it for 4 years, and it rocks it every day when I listen to it. Entrepreneur on Fire. It's called Entrepreneur on Fire.
Oh yeah, JD.
Yes. I adore him. And he is like hardcore about showing the money. Like, he's like, this is what I do. This is my money.
That's exactly who I was referring to when I said, because he shows the money.
He shows the money.
That for me is legit. Like, that's legit. He shows the money. I'm like, okay, I get it. And it's just the post that I put in there. And so the platform and what we're doing. So thank you for that. And yes, the platform in which we're doing is twofold. It's to feature diversity in our industry. So I love that you're a Latina woman. You're killing it. You're speaking, teaching at the National Association of Realtors. You're doing amazing things for the community. And so we thank you, Mariette. Shout out to Clint J. Marmon for connecting us as well. I know Narep in the building for that, because he's gung-ho, and he's we met together at a mixer, and he's like, yo, you need to come over here. You need to do this. So it's really expanded my world, and it connected me through you and a whole nother network of people that I'm really excited to also feature on this show as well. So it's going to be an amazing season and seasons to come. And I just want you all who are listening to know, like, Mariette has so much value, and do get connected with her. She is at mariettemartinez.com. Is that the best way you want people to reach you?
I made an effort over the last 9 years to put everything I can think of on that website and still keep it clean. So I'm hoping you guys can find what you need. The only other place that you may find me, other than social, I'm like Lisa, I'm everywhere, is at my boot camp, masteryourbooks.com. It's a boot camp that I provide for small business owners. And so you'll see things around masteryourbooks.com, but I even link that to mariettemartinez.com. So you should be
awesome. And I must say, we have to do a public shout out to your daughter, who was doing a graphic design. Hello. Like, she's killing it. So
it's like what we're saying, start them young. That's why I love what you're doing with the young professionals. There's nothing wrong. Actually, it's probably wrong with not starting them young. My son at 4 years old, he had a business. It's called Miguel's Handyman, and he's now 11, and he wants to be an engineer, and he's always fixing things around the house. And my daughter has always loved design. She's been doing art since she was 3. So outside of being an artist, now she's going into graphic design, and she just recently designed my logo for Master Your Books. So start them young.
Exactly. So Master Your Books, is that specifically for accountants? Who is that for?
Yeah, I love that question. So Master Your Books is essentially a small business financial boot camp that I've been doing for over 10 years for different companies. I've done them for Intuit. I've done them for organizations, profit and nonprofit. And now I'm actually bringing the boot camp home to my people here in my neighborhood in Ontario, California. And it's for small business owners, but it's also for accounting, bookkeeping, and tax professionals that really want to get the fundamentals of finances, meaning your financial statements, your 3 financials, your balance sheet, your income statement, and your cash flow, and understanding partners, like how to access capital from bankers, and how to build your wealth through partnerships. So I have a lot of my own colleagues that attend the boot camp as well. I've always done it live through my partners, but I've never done it just through MarietteMartinez.com. So I'm super excited to bring it home, and it's going to be November 30th and December 1st in Ontario, California.
Very timely. So you have enough time to get connected. Check out masteryourbucks.com. And I really am going to say we keep it short, simple, and powerful today. Don't want to inundate and overwhelm people with just some quick tips, where to get the resources. And I am looking forward to part 2 of our series. Are there any last closing remarks you'd like to leave with our audience, Mariette?
I do. Actually, I always want to let you all know that, when you prepare for something like this, and I encourage you all to join networks and join communities where there's people like Lisa that want to bring you on to share. And I'm going to tell you why. In the last, 5+ years that I have gone into more of a speaking and influencer role, when someone asks me to come in, whether it's being interviewed or speaking, it makes you go and get your homework done. You research, you get excited, you get inspired. And actually, by preparing for today, I have promised myself and everybody that's watching this in the replay, I'm going to have a section on my website specifically for realtors to learn about accounting. So it'll start with a blog, and then it's going to go into a boot camp. So I just want to let you guys know that Lisa inspired me to really help all you out. So that'll be coming soon.
Yay! I feel like I just want to do that just to show off my cuffs now.
Yeah, you do. I love those cuffs. Oh my God, we should be able to win those cuffs because they're so amazing. But then with your logo on them or something, so we can go, this is from Lisa.
Yes, I love it. A partner told me last night, he said, you are just so, I need a super agent popsicle or something. Where's the ice cream truck delivering? Yeah. I was like, yo, it's now coming because you asked for it.
Exactly. No, that's what I mean. That's what you did to me. I'm not kidding. I was driving over here and I was saying, I wish I just had a place where I can say everything you could ever dreamed of to get you empowered on real estate. Accounting is there, and you inspired me. I'm going to do it. I literally put it on my task list. So it's going to get done. 2019.
Get it? Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Love it. Mariette, really appreciate you. Looking forward to our next episode. Like I said, for those of you guys who are tuning on the replay, thank you. Make sure you hashtag replay. Be sure to let someone know what we're doing on this show. We are now in season 2 of Ready, Set, Real Estate. We'll see you next week for another powerful episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate.
Bye-bye.
See ya.